Hello, this is a Leshark and Friends
And Russell.
and Russell podcast. And on today's show, we're talking to Nicola Upham, head of Global Humanitarian Surge at Save the Children International. Nicola's journey to Phuket started in the good old US of A at Camp America and then just goes crazy after that. Nicola is a truly amazing person and slightly bonkers, but in a super cool way. This is one of the most left-of-middle podcasts that we've ever done, and a great way to finish off the craziness of 2020. She smashed it. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the podcast. What did you have? You were talking about your porridge.
I was.
Go on.
Nice bowl of porridge, a little bit of apple, and some raisins. And it was very yummy. Oh, and a little bit of honey.
Oh yeah, you can't miss out the
Can't
honey.
miss out the honey. Natural sweetener.
Did you know that vegans don't eat honey because it's an animal product?
Come again.
More for them.
Anyway, hi. Nicola, hi.
Hi.
Hey, Nicola. Welcome to the
Hi.
podcast.
Thank you.
What do you do? How did you get to Phuket?
Yeah.
How was your morning?
We're going to dive straight in.
No beating around the bush there. What do I do and how did I get to Phuket?
Well, we should slow
We
that
can
down
warm
a
you
little
up
bit.
slowly a little
Go
bit.
on, you warm her up, Russ.
So-
Warm.
So, who are you and how did you get here?
Oh, that's loads more slow. Might need a cup of coffee. So, hi, I'm Nicola. I got here 3.5 years ago from
Relative newbie.
a relative newbie
Yeah.
from way too long in Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam.
Oh, cool.
So about 8 or 9 years in Ho Chi Minh. And we decided that we really didn't want to be in a big Asian city any longer.
So
And
you came to a small one.
so we came to a small one, yes.
Yeah.
We bought a tiny little house here and we used to come here for long weekends out of Ho Chi Minh to escape and go to the beach. And then one day I was driving down the road and I saw a sign for a school and thought, oh, golly, there's schools here too, which I hadn't thought would happen, but there obviously are. And so we looked at moving over here. So we're now been here for 3.5 years.
What was the reason you was in Vietnam?
That's a really, really good question. Why were we in Vietnam? You're good
We
at
asked
this.
the tough
You're
que-
good at-
we
you're
asked the
good at
tough
this.
questions
I've
on this
got an
Not
answer.
bad. 3 minutes in, I've asked the best question ever.
So why were we in Vietnam? So originally I wasn't in Vietnam, but my boyfriend was. He was working and I was working in Cambodia. And you can kind of commute between the two countries. That sounds a
Through
little...
the tunnels.
Yeah, on those really fast buses. Or the really, really small tunnels. And then after a couple of years in Cambodia, I moved across to Vietnam permanently, semi-permanently.
Okay, this is all very vague, isn't it? Here
I know.
going on.
Do you need more details?
Well,
So
I
are we
don't-
dealing
maybe
with,
not.
were we dealing with drugs or
I mean,
Only off the
trafficking.
record.
or
Yeah, drugs and
weapons?
trafficking. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
two that I'm
yeah,
going for.
It's very dull, very dull.
Right.
My boyfriend's got a market research business, and I have a job where I can do it from anywhere. So, bizarrely, I chose Ho Chi Minh. So, do you want to know about the job?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let's track back a little bit. So your boyfriend has got a job that's in market research.
He's got his own market research company,
Right.
And he's based in Vietnam.
and he's based in Vietnam.
Okay, so he was in Vietnam already.
Yeah.
So you weren't in Cambodia or Vietnam at the time, or you were in Cambodia?
Oh no, neither of us were in Vietnam at the time.
Oh my God! Right. hold on.
Now you told it gets complicated. So we were in Australia.
Russell, help.
Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the very beginning.
Where were you born?
Where are you
I
from?
was born in the UK, but
Okay.
when I was about 20-something,
You were born at 20-something?
We know, when I was 20-something, we moved to Australia
Okay.
and lived in Australia in Sydney for about 8 years.
And that
When you
was-
say we,
Same boyfriend,
right, okay.
Robert,
Right, okay. Oh, wow.
long
Hi.
time.
Yeah.
Oh wow! An only boyfriend.
Oh no, we're married.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, but we actually got
Well,
married at some point on the line.
randomly, we got married in Phuket.
Who was your celebrant?
I've got no idea.
Oh right, okay. I'm just checking it wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me. Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't you.
No.
A whole load of monks on a beach.
Okay.
Man, you're mental. This is great. Right.
Right, I've got questions.
Yeah.
The first of which is, and Does he refer to you as his girlfriend or
Yes.
his wife?
Yes,
It's
girlfriend.
Okay.
In our wedding vows, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. We weren't husband and
Is there any
wife.
particular reason for that?
Because that sounds quite scary.
Right. Okay.
So I just thought we'd just say boyfriend and girlfriend, and it wasn't quite so scary because we'd been boyfriend and girlfriend for
Ever.
So
why rock the boat?
Why rock the boat?
No, 100
by getting married.
Yeah. No. I'm 100% on that page.
So we're still boyfriend and girlfriend.
Excellent.
Yes.
Awesome. No, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, don't look at me. I'm
All right,
not
so-
a marriage counsellor, am I? Really? To be fair.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah. So whereabouts in the UK?
Cheshire.
Oh, nice.
Oh, very nice. Very
nice little
nice.
spot. Yeah.
Just south of Manchester.
Yeah. Well,
But
then.
not for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So I've not lived in the UK since 2001.
Okay.
And what was the reason that you and your then boyfriend, now husband, stroke boyfriend, went to Australia?
Because it's much warmer than London,
It's a
which
low
is where
bar.
we're living. That was pretty much it, to be honest with you. Good wine,
Yeah. Okay. Whereabouts in Australia?
Sydney.
Okay.
So 8 years-ish in Sydney,
And
where it is warmer.
In terms of, was that the decision making that, we've been in London working, had enough of this, we want to move, spin the globe, Australia's got better weather, better wine, or was it job first, or?
No, it wasn't,
yeah.
it wasn't anywhere near
I
that
wasn't
organised.
suggesting you were ever that sensible, but I just thought I'd put it out there.
No, we had been to Australia prior, like backpacking and just
Holidays
doing,
and stuff,
walking and working in bars, blah, blah, blah. And then went to the UK, back to the UK for about 3 years. Should also add that Robert's not English, he's Dutch, so it was his first time in the UK. And then we went back to Australia because we missed it, because it was cold in London and warm in Sydney.
Yep.
Better wine, very simple.
Right, I'm done. I can't. Right, so you went to
Can we
Australia.
get 3 gin and tonics over here, please?
You went to-
Doubles.
You went to Australia at about 20-ish with your boyfriend.
Yes.
Still boyfriend now, but married. But he'd never been in the UK before that.
Only on short visits.
So how did you meet?
We met in America.
Jake, can I just for the...
No, don't look at me.
No, I'd like to apologise to
This
you.
was meant to be an easy one. This
Yeah,
was meant to be
yeah.
let's just get this
Yeah.
done.
Get it done.
Yeah.
No editing, no
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
We can just go through. It'll be really... this is what he said to me. He goes, Jay, I got a great one on Tuesday. She's lovely. She works. She's got a great job. It's really interesting. Great story. I'm like,
Yeah, it'll be
brilliant.
fine,
Great.
no
It'll be
problem.
really
Simple.
easy. Be
Yeah, it'll
simple.
be easy.
I could lie.
I'm so
Yeah.
Which is lie
confused.
instead.
I'm apologising.
That's
This is
right.
my fault. I'll
So,
take the heat for this one.
Let me see if I get this right.
What?
You met your Dutch boyfriend, or you met your boyfriend in America who is Dutch.
Yes.
You'd never been to England before. You then moved to Australia with him,
Yes.
even though he'd never been to England before.
Yes.
Then you stayed in Australia for
2 years.
2 years backpacking,
Yeah.
living off the state, and then you came back, and it was the first
Yeah.
time that a Dutch person had been to the UK.
Yeah.
He went, oh, very cool. Don't like the dish.
Yes.
Can't the smoke the more.
It's a little bit Swedish.
Scandinavian. It's in the same
Same
area.
It'll do.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll do.
ballparkish, yeah.
And then you just went, okay, he didn't like England because it was obviously not,
Dutch.
I don't know, Dutch. There was no orange there, there was no wooden shoes. And he went, I've had enough, let's go to Australia
Back
where
to
there is
Australia.
Yeah.
wooden shoes and orange.
Orange. Yeah,
And
baby.
warmth.
And warmth and wine.
And wine.
Okay,
So-
the wine thing, okay.
So he was
wine,
in-
gotcha.
He was in Holland. You're in London.
Yes.
And at some point, and you hadn't met, obviously, because
No.
right. And you thought, fuck it, I'm going to the States for a hollybob,
No, I went to work on a children's camp.
like a Camp America sort of
Like a
thing.
camp.
Yeah,
in fact,
okay.
a Camp America.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. I get that. That's all right. That's fair
Did you
enough.
have to go through the whole process where you had to go to London and go around like speed dating to different tables to choose your camp?
No, but I wish that I had have had that opportunity.
Oh.
They offered me somewhere
And you-
before that.
and you jumped at
I
it straight away.
stupidly took
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Where-
no,
where-
you should've-
Big error.
You should
Where
have done
was
the
that?
speed dating
So where did
stuff.
you end up?
I ended up in an absolute shithole in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania. Oh, fucking hell.
which was horrendous.
Really, in the middle of, pardon the
no.
French, butt fuck nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then we bought a car together after camp and drove to
Whoa,
LA.
whoa.
Oh,
So
he was
he
at
was
camp
there as
with
well.
you?
He was at camp as well, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I met him. on the
Right,
camp.
okay.
Right. Okay.
Jeez,
So
I
you-
thought Stacey was hard.
Yeah.
This is
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
ridiculous. This is taking out all our interviewing skills, which we have very little.
yeah.
Generally, people just
So-
tell us a story and that's it. We go, oh, that's great, and then we make jokes about it. This is
So-
like, come on.
You kind of
Squeeze,
bonded
Russ,
over the
squeeze.
fact that you both kind of realised you're in the middle of absolute nowhere
Yeah.
with a bunch of weird
Kids.
Pennsylvanians and even weirder kids.
Yeah.
And bonded off the back
and
of
liked
that.
wine.
And liked wine, which you couldn't get hold of in Pennsylvania.
No. So we bought
Bought a car and fucked off.
a car and buggered off basically to
Right.
LA.
Okay. So
So
just
that
a
my
road
phone?
trip just for the sake of...
that is probably your phone ringing now. It's
It
probably
is
him.
my phone.
Probably listening.
It'd be really funny if it was.
If it
No,
is
it's
just...
not. It's
Oh,
not.
damn it.
I won't answer it.
Oh, that's very kind of you. That just caused more confusion.
That'd been brilliant if it was
Is
him,
that
though.
possible?
I don't know.
So your road trips to LA, any particular reason for LA or just
Well, we were hoping to go all the way back to
do a
where
loop?
we'd started.
We'll drive a
from.
right round.
Yeah, but we
yeah.
ran out of money
Fuel.
and time.
I was going to say, how long did you have?
Not long enough,
You only get
evidently.
2 weeks at the end of the thing, don't you? Don't they give you 2 weeks off at
Oh
the end to
no,
travel?
we had about 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because thankfully the camp was relatively short. That was the one upside of the shit camp, was that it wasn't very long camp,
Right, gotcha.
which was probably the reason I chose it. Because they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we only want you for 4.5 weeks, and then you can stay for another 6 weeks.
That's right. Yeah,
Right,
that's how
okay.
it works.
That was what the decision was
Nice.
probably made on.
Okay.
And you
But the
were
road trip must have been good.
The road trip was great.
Yeah.
you were uni at the time, or
Yes.
oh, I shouldn't have asked that, should I? Because I just saw
But
those.
now that you have,
No,
right.
And what did you study?
I studied geography.
Right, so you obviously knew that America's quite long then to drive round. Just checking, yeah. Right.
Obviously not that much though. No, I went to Camp America at the end of my second year, so I had then 1 year to go back to
Yeah.
study. So after camp,
And that was the American year, I'm assuming.
no,
No, that was the
the
summer.
the
That was
American.
summer.
No,
between-
I meant the year that you had left to study. That was the geography of America. Then you would have realised it was such a long way
only,
round. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
Then I went back, and Robert went back to the Netherlands, where at the time he still had to do national service.
Ooh.
So he went in the army for a year as a truck driver.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
You didn't need to say
You
that.
didn't need to do
I
that.
know, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Robert the truck driver.
I was in the military. I drove a truck. Yeah.
One of his friends was a waiter, so there were other things as
Right,
well.
yeah,
They
fair
weren't
enough.
like putting the bar that high.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm almost done.
And
Yeah.
then I went to Australia.
Okay.
No. Whoa.
Oh, no, no.
So back to London for uni.
Yeah.
Did your year of geography? So I'm assuming you kept in touch. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
And when,
yes.
when was this?
As in, are you asking the year?
Ballparkish.
Did you have internet? Is what we're probably going
No.
down. No. So you
Yeah.
were writing letters and phone calls and stuff.
Letters and phone calls.
Dear Robert, really think you look hot in your truck.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And
Pretty
clogs.
Yeah.
I've got a good,
love,
I've,
love the clogs. Do they
I've got a
hinder
good
your
phone call
driving?
story of phoning him.
Go
Would
on then.
like to hear
Yeah.
that.
Does it involve
Absolutely.
the phone box in the middle of
No,
the
it
night?
doesn't involve a phone box, but it involves a card that, if your parents were relatively generous, which mine were, they gave you like a BT calling card
Yeah.
that they ended up paying for. So one night, I came home slightly worse for wear after possibly
night out.
some wine, phoned him,
Love
and
you.
I'm not sure how long for, but a few days later the card was cut off, and my mum got a message saying,
to remortgage the house.
the telephone call cost 150 quid, and this is back in 1994. So I'm not entirely sure what I'd done. I hadn't used the card properly.
Yeah.
It had gone to like the moon and back.
Once again, your geography's kicking in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
an overriding theme, isn't there? And it was 150 something quid. So my mum wrote to whoever the chairman of BT was at the time, and sort of wrote this sob story about her drunken student daughter, and he let us off. So we got
Shut
it
the
for
front
free.
door. No way.
That's insane.
Dear Mr. Chairman
So
of
I
BT.
don't get my madness. You know, my madness is from my mum, maybe.
Right, yeah.
My
okay.
daughter's an alcoholic. She phoned her Dutch boyfriend.
Is she?
Not knowing how to. I know why it was, because I had a telephone in my student house that was one of the.
Oh, the
This
dialing-
really shows
Yeah.
how old. Like the ring, the
Yeah,
dialing
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
not the buttons.
Yeah.
And that was more expensive. And
No,
then
it wasn't.
Yes,
No,
there was
it
some
wasn't.
really
No.
silly reason like that.
You can't
It
justify
was
it.
probably you put the wrong code in, or
Yeah, you probably
dialed the
you went
wrong
round the
number.
wrong way of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What
anyway,
left instead of right?
it was free at the end.
That's
God
the result
forbid.
that is.
Anyway, well done, Robert.
So an extra year of uni with expensive phone calls back and forth.
Yeah, and a few flights,
And
quite a few flights.
Excellent, cool.
Saving coupons from like Shell petrol stations to get
Yeah,
free
yeah.
flights and all of that kind of stuff.
Excellent, as you do.
And then Australia.
Okay.
For 2 years backpacking and just, picking tomatoes and drinking cheap
getting
wine.
shedded.
Yeah. Then to London for 3 years. Then it was too cold, the wine was too shit.
And what were you doing in London?
Recruitment consultancy.
Okay.
So I worked in the city, which is very different to now, obviously.
Yeah.
And then back to Australia for about 8 years.
Right,
Also
okay.
in recruitment.
Right, okay.
And was your boyfriend doing marketing at the time, or was he in recruitment as well?
No, he worked for a chain of bars in the UK called the Picture and Piano, which maybe people might know. It was a big London chain of bars, and he was an ops manager for them, and used to just go around different bars.
I was hoping he was going to say he was an opera singer. That's what I was really hoping for.
So you worked in recruitment in Sydney?
Yeah.
Okay. When I went to Sydney in '99, I worked for a company called Julia Ross.
Oh, okay.
You know them?
I do know them.
Yeah. So you didn't work for them?
No.
Okay. So my story for that is...
Be careful. I haven't got a good lawyer anymore.
That's cool. So I went to... Because I was... Similar thing, backpacking, so I needed a job. Went to this agency, and it was... Walked into their office, and it's super plush.
Yeah.
It's like a high-end wow factor. And he's just filled with amazingly beautiful women. It's just... And I'm kind of like... I feel rather out of place and rather intimidated in this office right now. Handed in my CV. I'm looking for a job. I'd like to do admin. And they just kind of looked me up and down and said, admin? You're a bloke. Boy, boys don't type. I'm like, look, I've got good computer skills. I can do this shit. So they scoffed at me. Said, well, you have to do a test first. I'm like, fine, that's no worries.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
So they put me in the room. There's about 8 other women in there. And so they go, test
8
your
other women or 8 other women?
8 other women all doing this test. So,
I'm with you.
You're with me, aren't you?
Yeah. I just let him go with it.
Got to do my typing speed test. Got to see that I can use Word and Excel and all of that. And I fucking smashed it because I'm an ace.
I fucking smashed it. That's what you just said.
My Word and Excel test.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not rocket science. I'm not being
I
funny.
didn't smash it.
No, I mean, I've got my 10-metre swim badge. I didn't say, hey, I fucking smashed it. That 10 metres.
Seriously, I'm like 100 words a minute.
I was
Bosh,
like Duncan
done,
Goodhue,
done.
I was. Just went for it straight away. There's a
So
80s reference for you.
I ended up getting a job through, what's the telecom system company over there?
Telstra.
Telstra, thank you. Yeah. Worked for them for about 6 months.
Doing admin.
Yeah, doing database entry work. It was
Smashing it as well, probably.
boring.
Smashing it,
No.
I was. Smashing
It was.
fuck
Oh,
out
I
of it.
hated it. I absolutely hated it.
I tell you what, I put that decimal point in the right place. Man
Fucking
alive.
got it.
Hey,
Boom.
Why would anyone go to Australia to be working in an office? Why would
So
you
no,
not?
I travelled around a little bit, and I kind of
Okay.
ran out of money and thought I've either
okay.
got to get a job to sustain
Or-
what I'm doing here, or go back. So I got the job. It wasn't
Okay.
really that great. I thought I've had enough of this shit.
And
And
you
I
were like-
honestly didn't really like Australia, but that's another story. Back to you.
So in Australia, doing recruitment, 8 years. Then after the 8 years, you went, yo, Robert.
Yeah,
We really like wine. Let's go to
You
Vietnam.
back. Let's go. Bit of Dutch for you there.
there was. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, but we didn't go straight because that would be too easy for the story. We didn't.
Oh,
go
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've gone to Mars or something, and then over to Jupiter. Went, nah, it's not very good over here.
We went to. Actually, our first stop was Phuket, and then we went to Shanghai. Did a bit of travelling. No, then we went to Europe and the UK because my sister got married, his sister got married, and then we went to America and then South America for about a year and travelled around.
This is purely.
This is all travel.
This was just for fun.
Right. Okay.
And then we got back to Australia because we were originally planning on going back to Australia, but unbeknownst to Robert, I'd applied for a job in Cambodia.
You hadn't told him.
Cheeky.
Well, I thought I wasn't going to get it, so I thought I'll have the really tricky conversation if...
You didn't think you was going to smash it.
No, I
like
didn't
Russ.
think I was going to smash it.
Just not confident enough. Eh?
You've got to have the confidence. That's all it
It's
is.
a grave error because I did smash it.
Smashed it.
And then I was left with the, oh shit, now I've got this job in Australia. Oh no, in Cambodia.
So what was the job in Cambodia that you went for?
It was working for a charity, a small Cambodian charity, because that's what I wanted to move out of recruitment into.
So okay, so now
So it was a plan.
there was a. So what was the point? So you've done recruitment and
Yeah.
you've travelled around. You think, do you know what? I'm going to go and give my heart to charity. How did that whole process? What was the thing?
I don't
behind
know. I think it was something I probably thought about in the back of my mind for a long time. So when I'd been in Sydney doing recruitment, I'd studied a master's degree in international relations, and I'd studied things like the rights of the child. There's a big convention on the rights of the child, and da-da-da-da.
So just to jump in, from an academic perspective, international relations, children's rights and all of that, geography. Okay. Bit of a leap.
Well,
In all
geog-
fairness,
no,
though, she can
no.
drop geography because she doesn't know how big America is. So let's just all move on. And just hopefully she knows about children's rights.
Yeah.
Carry on.
No, geography, I do think there's a link, because if you do geography, you're just interested in other places and other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but it's useful to know where they are.
Yeah. I do know where some places
Or you
are.
just like colouring in maps, because that's a lot of geography, isn't it?
It
Colouring maps in
is.
different colours.
And going around them in blue.
That's right.
And I was always
Yes.
really neat at the going
Yes.
around them in blue.
Yeah. Can I just point out, just momentarily, 'cause I'm not sure if you two have noticed this.
Yeah, we are. Hello, I should explain. We're in Bake again this week after being back at Gallery Lot, or not back. We're back at Bake. We did have a family sat next to us, which Russell did say, I think we're going to make the move.
Yeah.
And they have
And
just
they have.
They
Very,
did get
very
up and-
kindly.
yeah.
I don't blame them in the
I
slightest.
think it was
Just
when
round the corner, though.
Russell shouted out, I fucking smashed it. Was probably the reason they
Probably,
left.
yeah.
Yes.
So I have my
They
uses.
obviously don't like admin.
No, possibly
Took
not.
offence
No.
to admin. They've just gone round the corner, I think.
Bless them.
We're going to get them later.
Yeah.
Okay, so the job in Cambodia was for a small charity, a small
Yeah.
Cambodian charity?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah.
And how did you hear about that? Because it's not the sort of thing,
I was going to ask.
you know, is there a charitable
It was
website?
It was through an organisation called AVI, Australian Volunteers International. So it was like a volunteering job. That doesn't make sense, obviously. It was a volunteering position, but you get paid. You get paid enough to live off. You don't make any money.
Food and accommodation.
Yeah, Cambodian student accommodation.
Yeah.
No, it was okay.
Food in a tent.
Food
Food in the floor.
Cold showers, no air conditioning. No, it was fine. And I did that for a year, and then I got a job with Save the Children in Cambodia, and that's who I still work for now, but not,
So the-
Okay,
not
right.
you to
in
Cambodia.
Cambodia.
20 minutes in, we get to the good bit. Save the children.
Whoa. Before we say the children, 'cause that can wait. You've gone. So you've had this. Are you in South America when you've had this discussion
Yes.
with Rob about going to?
No. Yes, in South America. I got the job whilst I was in South America,
Okay.
and then we went back to Australia, and I told him, and he was going to stay in Australia. And
Rob, stay.
Place.
Place.
If you need your dog trained, go to Canine Point Academy. That's Canine Point Academy. Find them on Facebook and
So you
on
stay
their
here.
website.
I'm going to go to.
I'm going to go to Cambodia, and we'll see each other, you know, every couple of months, kind of thing.
And how was he with that?
He was he's probably quite relieved.
I've smashed it. Smashed it. Finally. Travelling around the world.
I know what the title of this podcast is.
Yeah, I do too.
Then what happened? Oh, then I met. So he that was in Australia, in Sydney, just doing his thing. I was in
his clogs in his
Cambodia.
truck.
Then I happened to just meet someone in Cambodia and who was in market research, because by this time Rob was working in market research in Australia. And I said to them, "Got any jobs here?" He does this, and they said, "No, that's my job, so you can't have that." But our company in Vietnam is looking for somebody like me there. Send me his details, and then Robert got that job. So it was my old recruitment skills coming out.
You smooched the person.
Smashed it.
When you say market research, so is he market research in what? Anything.
Basically,
So
yeah.
a company will go to his. Maybe we should interview him for this question, to be fair. But so
Yeah.
you go to him and say,
I might
like,
know more than him, though, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
Might.
If we want to discuss clogs and truck driving, we'll get Rob.
But why? I don't understand. Based in Vietnam, is it Vietnam companies that are asking for the market
Yes.
research? Right. Okay.
So he ended up getting the job in Vietnam, and then worked for a company for a couple of years and thought, fuck me, I can do this way better
On my
than
own.
they can, so I'm going to do it on my own. So he opened his own company probably 10 years ago, something like that.
I'm really interested in that. I'd like to
Yeah.
talk to him after. But anyway, let's go to Save
You
the
have to
Children.
wait till he can get out of Vietnam to get back here.
Oh, is he
'cause
stuck
that
in
could be
Vietnam?
Stuck there now, is he?
problematic.
Oh, right. Okay. Damn it.
Yeah. You
Oh,
might
well.
see him in 29
20
or
something, yeah.
like that.
Oh, it's all. Look, and it'll be fine. It's all going. It's okay.
So you jumped to Save the Children.
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
Because they're the biggest and the best.
Yes, and they paid more than the volunteer.
Yeah.
I love this volunteer getting paid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the kind of volunteering I want to do.
Yeah, it's much better than non-paid volunteering.
Yeah.
So then I worked for for Save the Children.
So with a company like Save the Children, what's your role there, or was your role there to start with?
I'm going to guess saving kids.
Yeah, that played a little part of it.
Yeah.
What was my role back then? I worked in what's called their program support unit, which sounds quite dull, and actually, in fairness, the role was quite dull. But that's making sure that all of the work that they do with kids is kind of reported on properly to donors, so donors know that their money is spent ethically, properly,
And it's going to the right
as
place.
it was supposed, as they wanted it to be spent. So the people that are actually doing the work with the kids don't necessarily have all of the skills, especially in English, to be able to write those reports and give the information how a donor would want it. So you kind of get the information from those people and put it in a report, and then it goes off to the donor. It's kind of like, so it's quite
so you're
quite
checking their work and then adding to it to make sure that we're ticking all the right boxes,
Yeah.
that my 10 quid is giving that
Yeah.
kid some rice and chicken or
Yeah.
clothes, whatever.
And on
basically.
that sort of note, when you say to donors, is it individual people that have sent money, or is it, because I'm imagining you get sent a pot of money from head office,
Yeah.
so those reports are going back to head office to be disseminated out? Or?
No, they're going generally to. So
it corporate?
the way we get funding, and the way most big charities get funding, is you get specific project-based funding from really big donors like the US government, the
Yep.
UK government. They give X amount of dollars to, let's say, Cambodia, for you to deliver a health program. Let's say the British government gives a certain amount of money to Save the Children in Cambodia to do a program on health. We then have to make sure that that is what the money is spent on, and that it is not spent
On someone's
on
car.
other stuff, shall we say.
Yes.
So then they have to have a report that goes back with all of the details on to that, whoever the donor is. So in that example, the British government.
On that note, so when you're around, do people look at you in a different way because they feel that you're checking them?
No, not really.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you do know there are a lot of charities. I'm not saying that Save the Children is one of them, and they are definitely not. But there are some, especially in the smaller countries where they're run by locally managers, that do maybe put, a cup of coffee might go to one side. If you see what I mean?
No. So when I did that job, you're basically seen as supporting them because so I don't have the experience to do what they do because I don't speak Cambodian and I can't work with communities that efficiently because I don't speak Cambodian. That's their skill set. Then I can talk to them and I can put stuff into English. And so you're kind of seen as, if I was doing my job properly, I should be seen as helping them and supporting them, not watching what they're doing, basically.
What was I've never been to Cambodia. What's it like?
Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. So I was there. I was in Phnom Penh in 2008 to 2010. So it was still a little bit kind of rough around the edges, shall we say? And so really good fun.
And is there a big expat community?
Yes,
Okay.
there was, and at that time
quite a tight one, I imagine.
it was a really tight one, and it was mostly centred around people working for NGOs. Now it's a lot bigger, and it's a lot more commercial. So it's a much more varied expat community, which is probably a good thing.
Anna Rose works in Cambodia now for one of those NGO people.
That name rings a bell.
Not met her.
You'd know if you had. Sweet Anna Rose.
Jay, back in the room.
What type of projects were the Save the Children in Cambodia? What were they doing? Is it very similar to the Burmese workers camps here, or is it?
So there's a few kind of key things in Cambodia that they would do, and I'm really going back, 'cause this is 10 years ago, working with the Ministry of Education to look at how teachers teach in Cambodian schools and kind of to upskill put not on a direct one-to-one with the teacher, but actually the training that teachers get, for example. They did a lot of work. HIV and AIDS was quite prevalent, and there were a lot of orphans because of that, and so work around. We don't work directly with orphanages, but working with communities on how to protect those more vulnerable kids, basically.
So give them like the SOPs, if you like. This is what you should be doing. Okay.
Yeah. So, and a lot of it's done through the pagodas in the villages, through the monks, because that's a
pagodas. Isn't that where you grow plants up?
That's pagolas.
Is that a pagoda? What's a pagola?
Isn't that what you row on, isn't it?
I don't know.
Right, funny, Russ. So either way, none of us know what a pagoda.
Yeah.
A what?
A what?
A what?
A
what?
what? A what?
What?
A what?
A
Oh,
what?
you mean a temple?
A temple.
a
Yes.
Let's just call it what it is.
A temple. Good plan. A temple. Lots of the work gets done through the
Temples.
temples.
Is that because
I nearly said pagoda again.
Is that because the pagoda is good for? No. Is that because the temples is that the
monks are there?
And the monks are the ones that are driving
Yeah, and
this
the
forward?
monks are well respected in the community.
Right.
So if the monks say, let's take COVID now, for example. So
Is he a monk?
he's a monk. Do you not
Right.
know? He's very famous, well famous.
I've probably said something really bad then to a certain community, haven't I? I apologise.
If you said he was a priest, you could have got away with it.
All right.
So let's say if you were in a village and you wanted to make sure that all the kids knew how to wash their hands and be clean to not pass COVID.
safe.
Be COVID safe. People listen to the monks, so they're a really good way of getting information out.
Are they
basically,
kind of like community leaders?
yeah, they're really well
There
respected.
you go.
They're really, really well respected in Cambodia, and so if you need a message getting out,
They're not going to listen to you,
They're
but
not
if you
gonna
give that
listen to me,
message to
but-
them, they'll pass
yeah.
it. Yeah, sweet.
yeah,
okay.
so it's way more effective than me or anyone else standing there through a megaphone, blah blah blah. Let the monks do it.
And the job that you were doing and the projects that you had, is it all just Cambodian based?
Back then, it
Back
was
then,
all
yeah.
Cambodian paste. Yeah.
Okay. And,
Yeah.
and you were doing that for a couple of years?
Did that for about 18 months, I think, and then I got a job. So a lot of it was kind of, I did a lot of staff training and a lot of staff development, because as I said, you're working with people, but you're not watching them. You're, I guess, helping them improve their skills, shall we say. So from there, I got a new job with a different part of Save the Children in their emergencies team, whereby I worked across 5 different countries and went off to places called the Fragile State Project. So I went off to places like Somalia, Democratic Republic of Congo, where there are really kind of shitty humanitarian crises going on the whole time, and worked with their staff to try and upskill their staff in the more administration type of stuff.
Well, if you need
But
admin,
I know,
a
that's
guy
what I was
who
thinking.
will
I was like, I
absolutely
can
smash it for you. What was Somalia? I mean, that's a place that's
Not on everyone's top 10 list.
it's not on everyone's bucket list. That's for sure.
no.
What was that like?
a lot colder than I thought it was going to be.
I wouldn't have thought it would be
No,
cold.
I was not expecting that.
But it's really
No.
cold.
At night?
At night, because it's really high.
Yeah,
It's that geography again.
Well done.
I didn't know there were mountains there,
I wouldn't-
and there
Oh,
are.
no, I knew there was mountain range there, but I didn't think it was
pretty cool.
that high.
It's
I
pretty
wouldn't have
cold
thought.
at
I
night.
wouldn't have thought it would be cold or mountain ranges. Well, there you go.
And there's a lot of spaghetti. They eat
Excuse
a lot
me?
of pasta.
Come again?
They eat a lot of pasta.
Really?
Italian influence from
Italy, probably.
From Italy.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Once again, geography. Well done.
They eat a lot of pasta. No, it was really, really cool.
Just spaghetti in general? Are they more of fettuccine or
No,
penne?
just spaghetti.
It's
Spaghetti.
spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Yeah,
That's fair enough.
Spaghetti.
I think it's the
pretty
best one of my pastas. I do
So
like the
your
bow
favourite-
ones. Although, unless it's alphabetic spaghetti, then
much.
you
What's
know
the
that
bow called? The bow's got a.
it's called a bow, isn't it? Oh,
No,
they've got
it's got
proper name.
It
Is it?
does, yeah.
Name.
yeah.
My kids don't go. Oh, can I have that specific one? They want. Can I have the bow one?
Tagliatelle, penne,
Penne.
fusa.
Penne's a.
No, that's the twisty
That's
one.
the twisty ones, isn't it? Yeah,
Mm. If there's any Italians listening, please let us know in the comments.
yeah.
Not that I will read them and I won't care. So Somalia, spaghetti, cold,
Spaghetti,
mountains.
cold. Yes, and amazing
Can I just say, if you sort of Google Somalia, I'm fairly confident it doesn't come up with cold mountains bow spaghetti.
I would put pirates up there.
Yeah, pirates
in my
might
top-
be.
Pirate.
Yeah,
my search.
Yes.
pirate spaghetti.
And one of the places I went to when I was in Somalia, this town had more money than I was expecting this town to have, and had like full running water, electric lights everywhere, and I kind of was like to the Somalis, wow, this is pretty well organised, and it wasn't what I was expecting at all. And they were like, oh yeah, all comes from pirates.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, I like pirates, but Somali pirates are giving pirates a bad name, I feel.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame.
No, it was good. It was different. You have to wear the full
regalia.
regalia, which is hot.
What is the full regalia that you have to wear?
Head completely covered.
Tent.
Oh, so is it? I didn't realise is it a Muslim
Yes.
Sharia law type place?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh
Yeah.
wow, okay.
So you got your full
Burqa.
near enough. So my face was seen, but nothing else.
Right.
Which was strange. And I remember landing. You don't wear them don't need to wear it on the plane in. So into those types of places, you always fly in on either a UN plane or a plane funded by one of the big governments. You don't fly in on
You're not commercial.
not commercial.
So, okay. Before you tell me, then you get changed together. But do you get in-flight entertainment? Is it you sat on hay bales and chickens running around? I mean, do you know what I mean? Though that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're all sat there going, oh,
So
come
one
on.
of my favourite flight routes ever to take was actually not in Somalia, but was in the Congo. And I used to fly from Kinshasa to Goma, which is like one side of the Congo to the other. And it's a massive country. geographical tip.
Bigger than America?
I think it might be the biggest in Africa, but
Right.
I'm not actually sure. No, not bigger than America. It takes 2
Uganda
hours to
pretty-
fly from side to side.
Uganda.
No, Uganda's smaller.
Is it? Okay.
No, definitely smaller.
There we go. I've learned something new today.
And the plane that was flown, it was donated by or it's funded by the Mexican government. By the Mexican
Jesus.
government.
Fucking hell.
I can imagine it's some private
And
jet.
so, no, it was some kind of, I don't know, it was some kind of jet, but not particularly swish. And they used to come down, there was a Mexican air steward.
With a sombrero. Please tell me you had a sombrero.
But he was your, if you have a stereotypical image of a Mexican gentleman, this guy was it.
Was he one of the three amigos?
And he was always like sort of singing, pushing his trolley down.
Got
And
a
a guitar,
ukulele.
yeah, every now and again.
And they were.
Did he have a donkey?
It was the same flight. I don't know. I flew it loads and loads of times, and it was always the same crew doing the up and down and what have. It was fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So honestly, so you had to wear so you'd land in Somalia and
In
then you'd
Somalia.
have to get a change.
Yeah, 'cause I wouldn't wear it on the plane or
Yeah.
anything like that. And it would depend where you're going in Somalia as to how
Strict it
how
was.
strict it is and how much freedom you have. So I stayed in one place where you don't see anything. You get picked up from the airport and it's all very sort of orchestrated. You know, you're on a radio to tell people, and it's all coded radio. So you tell people where you are by different landmarks and stuff like that.
Oh, you'll be rubbish at that. Empire State Building. You're supposed to be in Somalia. Shit.
Yes, okay. And then I was in a guest house. So in countries like that, Save the Children, you stay in accommodation that's organised and either owned or rented by the organisation. So it's got security and all of this sort of stuff. But you're not allowed to go anywhere. So sometimes, some places you see very, very little. You'll see the office and you'll see the guest house. And in some places, those two are on the same sort of secure compound. And so you don't really get to interact necessarily hugely with people outside. You get to interact with all of the staff. And if people come to visit the office, but it's not like you're kind of skipping around outside because it's just not safe to do so.
Yeah. You're a fair-weathered is the wrong word, isn't it? You're quite a fair person.
Yes.
So when you've put this burqa on,
Yeah.
how is it with with this bright white face screaming? And I'm assuming the black is going to be a black burqa. Does that?
No,
so how
I
do
wore
people-
a black. I think they're called abayas, the long dressy things, and I had a headscarf like a hijab
Yeah.
that was purple.
But are people looking at you because you're this bright white
Still
face,
a white face in the country.
or are they kind of used to it
I
all?
think they're kind of used to it because the places where Save the Children's working in Somalia and Somaliland, they're not. I guess they are kind of quite out of the way places, but there's a steady
Yeah.
stream
They've
of
had the
Yeah.
influx.
You weren't
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's more people, I guess, like me, travelling in than
Yeah.
you would maybe anticipate.
So during your time going back and forth to Africa, where were you actually based?
Vietnam.
So at that time you'd moved over to Vietnam. So with Robert,
Yes.
you finally got back with Robert.
Yeah. Well, so he was just staying in Vietnam doing his job, either running his business or doing prior to that, doing his job. And I would travel out to wherever it might be for up to about 3 months at a time, and then
Wow,
come
okay.
back and have maybe a month or 6 weeks off, sometimes do some work from home, and then
So it's
travel
very, it's
out
kind of
again.
so in that respect, it's more sort of project based.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
on like an offshore position. Okay, right.
yeah.
Did you ever have an army helmet with UN on it, or did you ever Save the
Yeah,
Children
a
with the
little
stars
blueberry.
on it? Yeah.
No,
Oh,
never
that's a
had.
shame.
Ah, denied.
I wish though.
That's a shame. Well, that's the end of the podcast. Thanks very much for coming.
So you did that for how long?
So that job I did for 3-ish years. 4 years. I can't quite remember because I had a baby and some maternity leave
So
in
I was
the
just- well, I
middle,
was just
in
gonna
the
get to-
middle
yeah,
of it. And I'm like,
Was there any time before you got pregnant and had your baby that you thought they said, oh, can you go to this country? And you was like, do you know what? I just don't feel that it's right that I want to go there.
no.
Or were you kind of like, no, I'm going to go everywhere?
Yeah, I've never turned down a deployment request. I haven't had any really bonkers ones.
Somalia's pretty...
Well,
I
yeah.
mean,
to be fair,
Been to Iraq as well.
To
Oh,
be
bloody
fair,
hell, there we
though,
go.
To be
Iraq.
fair, you'd
Nice.
start quite with a high bar for that, with going to
Australia.
fuck nowhere, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
This
sorry.
is true,
So, I mean,
exactly.
after that,
exactly.
anything's like-
everything's like, walk in the park.
Yeah, Baghdad, piece of cake,
Yeah.
mate.
If any
No, you
Pennsylvanians are listening, I'd just like to say that these are the views of Russell, and they are not the views of the Joe Leshark and Friends and Russell podcast. Thank you. Carry on.
No, I've never. I think also it depends. Like, I trust our security protocols and security processes, and that might be on some occasions slightly crazy of me, but I think you have to put your faith in them,
Absolutely you
otherwise,
do, yeah.
and follow them. Otherwise,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't work. No.
I'd imagine they have
No.
a quite a big security detail, and they're all probably ex-army guys that have
No,
left the army
a
and
lot,
come in, or
no, it's a lot smaller than you would think, and we don't use, unless in extenuating circumstances, and Somalia is one of those locations. We don't use armed guards either. So all NGOs try and manage security by what they call acceptance. So working with the local community.
is acceptance another word for AK-47? Or
Only in certain places.
right, okay.
No, if you work with a local community and they actually see the benefit of having you there, they're going to look after you. And so you don't need the AK. The
Yeah.
theory is you don't need the AK-47. I mean, shit happens frequently in terms of people, not necessarily just from Save the Children, but people getting abducted. There were people killed in Ethiopia about 3 weeks ago. So aid workers killed in Ethiopia about 3 weeks ago. So it doesn't always work, but that's the premise that we work on. So I've had armed guards in Somalia, but I've not had them anywhere else. And then it's a unit that's provided by the EU that you move everywhere in a convoy. You have armed guards at the front and at the back, and it's all very orchestrated. And it's not just Save the Children; it's all charities.
charities.
Because I think my only thing about going back to Somalia is Black Hawk Down, wasn't that was Somalia
Yeah, that
based,
was
wasn't it?
Somalia.
So that's my only visual reference I've got for Somalia.
But the difference-
Great album, by the way. Oh,
Yeah.
the music on that's fantastic.
Amazing album, terrific film. But again, the difference there is, and this lies back to for charities, if you have a heavy military-based presence, it's in itself stoking a particular fire.
Yeah.
If it's just a charity base there, and all right, people will understand you need to have some element of security, but you're not poking the bear,
No,
right? So
You're working with bears as well.
only in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Stop me poking
Yeah,
no
we'll get back
bears.
to that.
How do you feel about every single other charity that there is at the moment? And do you feel there's too many and it's diluting the good work that maybe bigger charities do?
Look, I think there's a real place for. It doesn't matter about the size of a charity, but if they are, for me, the most important thing is if they can actually identify that there's a genuine need for something to be done, then
Like specific program.
yeah, like go ahead and do it. I mean, we do a lot of our work with Save the Children with partners. So in lots of countries, it's not actually the Save the Children staff that are actually doing the work directly anymore. It's us training up and working with and supporting local organisations who ultimately know the context, etc., better than we do. I mean, I think a good example is, so if you go into, so a lot of the work I've done is emergencies work, and if you go into after an emergency, let's say after a cyclone, for example, you go in to a location, you have to work with the other organisations to try to make sure that all the different needs across all the different geographic areas are met and that there isn't overlap. So you do something really simple like a who, what, it's called a 4Ws, who, what, when, where, who's doing what, where are they doing it, etc., and try and make sure that either the work that you do complements someone else or doesn't step on their toes, basically. And it's not perfect, it's really not perfect, but that's the theoretical way of doing it.
Right.
I think I really stems from my only charitable kind of understanding really is based in Phuket. I lived here for 12 years and I kind of, but you see so many different charities, all trying to do so many different things, none of them all seem to be working as a unit. And I just
Yeah.
feel that if they worked as a unit, you could then spread the funds equally, rather than some getting more than others, because they're all
And I think
allegedly doing a great job. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
The
there's so
difference-
many different things.
the difference for me with that is, okay, here in Phuket, it's a very small community. So, and any charity that's here, you know those people. So there's a relationship with those people. With something like Save the Children, Oxfam, any other, we don't, okay, we know you, but I don't have a
Yeah.
direct connection with that charity.
that
So I'm like,
person.
I can give my money to that charity. Yeah, I can, if I can be bothered, I can possibly find out, hey, where did my £5 go
Yeah.
to? But ultimately, I'm giving the money in good faith that the job is going to get done. So we don't have that direct relationship. So in terms of them sort of working together, it may happen, it might not, but I'm completely removed from that particular loop. Unlike where we are here, where we know the people that are doing those individual things. And then it's easy for us to say, well, why don't you all kind of work together?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's easy for me to say that. I just feel that when you've got this brunch, 3,000 baht for this,
Yeah.
and then the next week there's another brunch for
Yeah.
another.
How
for
do you know which one to?
Which ones you
Correct.
go and support? And at the moment, everyone's lacking
Yeah.
in money. I mean, children are more important than elephants, and definitely more important than dolphins. That's for sure.
Jay's not a dolphin fan.
Sorry, fuck dolphins.
Yeah. he had a rough time in Florida, but that's another story.
I had one. I went round a little pool. Apparently, it was bad. It was in this little tiny pool, and I was going round in circles on this dolphin. Little bastard.
Doing wheelies. So a few years.
Don't laugh. Dolphins are
globe-trotting.
dicks. They are arseholes. They are absolutely.
I like dolphins.
Really? Have you seen what killer whales do to baby whales?
What's that
Go
got to
and
do with
watch
dolphins?
killer whales.
What's that got to do with dolphins?
Because a killer whale is a dolphin. You might think it's a whale, but it's not. It's just called a whale. But a killer whale is technically a dolphin. And they go and kill baby grey whales. Bastards. But, let's save the dolphins.
Should we-
Fuckers.
I'm going to say that for the outro. A few years globe-trotting.
Yes.
You was a
working on those
basketball
geography-
player. When did that start? In America?
Say that again.
He got it. It's okay. It was.
Yeah.
It goes over many people's heads.
Yeah.
As long as he
So
got it, I'm okay.
I'm
Oh,
with
I
you,
see
yeah.
Globetrot.
Thank
Right,
you.
got
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Practicing your geography skills, going different places. And then,
Always managing to make it home as well. So I
And-
must
yeah,
have
yeah.
some geography skills.
Yeah. Or a homing beacon. And then
Or an
decided...
airline ticket.
I mean, beacon.
I was reaching, admittedly.
Actually, saying that though, when you are out in these far-flung places in Africa, what's the do you have a panic
Zap
button,
phone?
or a Zap phone, or what happens if you've?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, that was easy. No, okay,
Not
moving
Not
on.
a ninja. I mean, are you
Not a
trained for
personal
fighting?
one. No. You have. I mean, the bases all have.
An emergency button, I think.
They
you'd
all
say, I
have
guess.
big satellite dishes. So
Yeah.
if you're working on a base that's in the middle of of nowhere, you have like
You can get the football.
But you can't
get the
just
football,
you can't
yeah.
just run and there's this big red button that you just
No.
hit when there's panic.
Ring the bell.
Panic! Ding-a-ling-ling,
No.
come!
Sadly not. So
Oh, well.
often it's like, I mean, I've worked in places that you can only fly in. You can't even drive in. So if you're ill or
Islands.
shit hits the fan,
That's a good one.
no, it was landlocked. It was South Sudan. That's
Wow,
landlocked, so no
Yeah.
island.
Yeah.
You can only fly in and fly out to certain places. So if you're ill or something goes wrong, you just have to wait for the next plane.
Wow.
Well,
No
there you go.
panic button.
Okay.
But there's radios,
Yeah.
because that helps.
So globetrotting for a few years.
Yes.
And then decided... Well, did you decide I've had enough of this, or did you decide, hang on, I'm pregnant?
No, I still did it. I still did it whilst I was pregnant.
Well, you better be careful
I know,
because
I'm just like-
there are reports that can be bad.
I still went on deployment whilst I was pregnant.
Right, okay, yeah.
There we go. I went to Sierra Leone, I think, for 3 months or something like that. And then I had B and took some time
Not
off.
in Sierra Leone.
Not in Sierra Leone, no. I had her in the UK. Then we went back to Vietnam. So I went from Sierra Leone back to the UK, had her, then went back to Vietnam, took some time off.
Just, whoa. So, I'm assuming you were in the UK for a period of time. I
Yes.
mean, you didn't just fly in,
No.
have her fly out.
No. I was probably there for about 3 or 4 months.
Oh, wow, okay, I was...
Something like that. 2 months after, 2 months before,
Yep.
something like that. Flew out back to Vietnam, took some time off, and then started work again.
Okay.
I went to Iraq.
But you from UK back to you were based in Vietnam?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just hanging out
So,
in Vietnam.
Rob, here you go.
Yeah,
Deal with this.
yeah.
Screaming child, I'm heading off to
I
Iraq.
went to Iraq
Okay, cool.
for not for very long, maybe only 6 or 8 weeks,
Okay.
something like that. Then I can't remember what I did.
I'm guessing went home.
I went home again, I think. Yes, I did. I went
Yeah.
home again.
So now based in Phuket.
Yes. So
Still-
now what do I do?
Well, no, I know you still work for Save the Children. I'm assuming,
I
but
do.
you
But
just
we don't
work
travel as
remotely
much.
from here.
I don't travel anywhere near as much, especially not this year. So now, instead of being one of those people that flies everywhere, I run the team. So I'm the director of the emergencies.
You could be proud of it. He's proud of being admin. You'd be proud of being a director or something.
I've just been given a new title and I can't remember what it is because it only comes into effect on the 1st of January.
Okay. We'll make it up. Director of International Rescue.
Humanitarian Surge. So I have a
Ooh,
team.
Surge?
Surge.
Is he a Swedish guy that we don't know, or?
Sadly
French,
not,
isn't
no.
it?
It's Surge.
Surge.
Surge is
Sounds
French,
French.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I'm sorry.
So I have a
There's
team
my
of people
geography.
that fly off.
So you
Fly off.
send them.
I send them.
Yeah.
And
Go
I
to Somalia, you'll love it.
yeah, it's
Don't
great.
forget it's cold.
Yeah, don't forget it's cold, and you don't need to take any pasta
Yeah.
with you.
And you can't go in now because you've just got a doggy as well, haven't you?
I have.
Yay.
I've got a little doggy.
Cute little.
But there's
fluffy
somewhere
thing.
really good on Phuket where I could leave him or not if I was to
No.
travel.
No.
No.
Soy dog, I think, are pretty good. Shove them up there. Yeah, no, Canine Point Academy. If you're going away for a night or a day or a whole weekend
Yeah.
or a week or even longer, you can leave
Or-
them
or
at
just a
Canine
day.
Point Academy.
Excellent.
He's
Anyway.
got beautiful beds. Yeah, yeah.
Roofie.
Roofie. Yeah. It's a good
That's
name.
his
isn't it?
name.
I know.
Yeah.
I've met.
It's not his Rufus.
I've-
But it
Rufus,
was going to originally be shortened to Roofie till
Yeah,
I was
Roofie's
like,
not-
oh.
Roofie's not the best name
So,
for a
we-
dog, is it?
Well, yeah. So, and that's the thing. So, we were having a couple of lessons, and B came along, and she's doing really. How old is B?
8.
8, and she's doing really well working with little Rufus, little puppy. And I was demonstrating something to her about how to get the dog to come back and come here, Roofie, and it just quiet, and it just. And I remember looking at you thinking, no, I shouldn't be saying this, and we just both cracked up. Just like, I must call him Rufus. I must call him Rufus.
Rufus is a cool name. Rufus
Roofie,
is the guy
Dad.
that was in Bill and Ted's
Bogus
Adventure.
Adventures.
Both, yeah. He was the main guy.
There we go. Good to know.
There we go.
I have met Rufus, and I met Rufus at Blue Tree when the
He's a cute little.
Yes.
little pup, and then I met Rufus at the horse riding
You did.
place as well.
You did.
The Rooster is a cool little dog,
He's
and he'll be
indeed.
really well. He
He.
will be really well trained now that he goes to Canine Point
He certainly
Academy.
will.
He will be, yes.
B.
At least for 1 hour a week,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
They got a beach club there, you know.
Beach. I know.
That's
He
unbelievable.
can't swim yet. We need to teach him to swim.
We can work on that.
Anyway,
Just
Russell.
back to you momentarily. So Rob's still in Vietnam,
Yes.
but obviously this year's side is obviously spending a
Yeah.
bit more time there. But as a general thing, you're based here,
Yes.
and he's working there back and forth.
Yes.
Okay.
So in pre-COVID times, there's a flight that's like an hour and 25. So
Yeah.
it's a super easy commute.
Okay.
So that's hopefully what we'll get back to
Right.
soon.
Okay, dokes. What sort of things have you got on your bucket list?
In Phuket or in general?
General,
Still to do.
still to do.
I would like to go.
I'm sorry, is that a cheese? Still to do?
I was thinking
Been a-
that.
it's been a long one. I was up early, got to get the kids out of the house early, had to be at work early, sorry. I apologise.
Slice of still to do on toast.
Still to do. I'd like to go to Antarctica and see penguins. There are penguins in Antarctica. Suddenly, like,
So
oh, that's
shit, am I going the wrong end? Yeah.
got right into the planet.
Just make sure I get my geography right with that one. Oh, that
I'd
could
like
be
to see
dangerous.
penguins in Antarctica because I've
That
not
would be,
done that.
That would be very cool. I'm up for that. Just to stand next to them. Just,
You can go to a zoo, you know.
no. I want to do it properly.
Or
Should
you
be
go
in
to
the
actually
wild.
Oh, don't
stand,
go.
stand next to an emperor penguin because they're like 2 meters tall, aren't they?
Emperor
Yeah.
Are they
penguins
that
are
tall?
not 6 meters. 6 foot.
That's like a.
But
No.
6 the same size as me. The emperor penguin is not the same size
I
as
the
think
me.
big
they're
ones.
only about one emperors, but I don't
Emperors,
think
there
they're
you
that big.
Okay.
I don't think.
If you
I
know
think
the
they're
size
pretty
of an
really-
emperor penguin, please put it in the comments below. Thank you. Anything else on your bucket list? 2 meters. Jesus Christ, it's the biggest bird in the
I'm
world.
pretty sure the emperors were pretty
That's
tall.
huge.
No,
Russell.
let's go with 1.25.
There we go. Take with that. Close enough. Look, I've only had 3 coffees this morning. Bear with me.
Anything else on my bucket list? Mongolia.
I'd like to go to Mongolia.
Fuck me, that was a reach.
I don't even know where that one
Antarctica
is.
penguins.
No, I think
Mongolia.
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 Yeah, I'd like to do Mongolia.
Any particular reason? Wrestling.
Haven't been. I've been to lots of places, so I've been to Mongolia.
I would like to go and see because Mongolia was one of the biggest civilizations in the world, wasn't they? They took over most of the world at one point, and I'd like to go and see what happened to them.
Now they all live in tents.
Yeah. There you go.
Anything else? Anything to do as opposed to travel or?
No. I'd like to learn to dive again here in Phuket.
Scuba dive.
Scuba dive, as in be able to do it again because I haven't done it for ages, and I
see, it's like
think
riding a
I would
bike.
be really bad. I wasn't very good
It's
enough.
breathing. I
I
mean,
know,
it's not
but
difficult.
I know, but I was a bit panicky the first time around. So
Right.
I'm actually thinking of doing that over the next couple of weeks, maybe.
Okay.
Free diving. I'm about to get into free diving. You should go and try that.
That's just holding your breath.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's easier than
I was
breathing.
going to say it's easier than scuba
Yeah.
diving.
Just don't
You
breathe.
just get to 2 meters and then pop up again.
Oh, look.
Look at me.
I'm as far down as the emperor penguin. That's my new measurement, that is.
Yeah.
Anytime I see anything, that's as big as an emperor penguin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lying down. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, on that random note,
Oh, far out.
this could probably go on for another hour, but
We certainly could, yeah.
we
but
do
we're
have
gonna
to wrap it all up. Thank you very much for being on our little
It's a
podcast.
pleasure.
And thank you for making it sweet, simple.
No
General
editing
flow,
to be done.
nice
you
and
know,
easy.
It's great.
That was
easy.
great.
I'm intrigued to see what will actually be the end product.
Just
you
us
and me
talking
both.
about talking about emperor penguins, I think.
Yeah. And bow tie pasta.
We'll put all the details for Save the Children as I'm pointing down in the comments below. So if you want to go and support Save the Children, please do, because children are important. They are the future. I
There's a
was
song
gonna
in
sing
there
then.
somewhere.
Yeah, I was.
Yes, into song.
I was going to start, but I won't now.
We are the world. Anyway,
I hope you all had a nice Christmas, because this is coming out after Christmas.
yeah.
So-
Christmas was amazing. How was your Christmas?
It was excellent.
Brilliant.
Did you get
Fantastic.
everything you wanted?
Pretty much, yes. No.
No. Good. Did you get an emperor penguin?
I didn't get an emperor penguin, no.
Sadly not.
Never mind.
Denied.
It was
So
next, year.
Nicola,
Yeah.
thank you very much for being on the little podcast.
Pleasure.
Thank you, sweet. Awesome
Thanks,
fun.
Russell.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Bye.
In my defence,
Welcome to the outro. What's your defence?
I told you that would be bonkers.
You did say that it would be bonkers, and it was bonkers. I'm still
That was amazing.
A
That
little
was so
bit
much fun.
upset with your lack of knowledge of size of penguins.
And I'm very disappointed with your lack of knowledge about bow tie pasta.
Yeah, I should know what it's called. Is it a bow tie one?
I'm sure it's like.
Anyway, we shouldn't be talking about
It's
us.
an F. It's like it's not fusely. It's a faff. It's an F. It's an F word. I'm sure it is.
Fettuccine.
It's not fettuccine.
Felucci.
It's not.
I could just look it up on
Yeah,
the phone.
yeah,
but-
we could, but that would be cheating.
boring. Nicola,
She's great, isn't she?
she's brilliant,
That was
huh?
so much fun.
Wow, what a story that was.
Very interesting story.
I still don't know how she got to Phuket or why she came to Phuket. All I've got is that she's mental
I think,
and has no idea about geography.
yeah. And that's a good question. I don't think we got too much about the Phuket bit, but the story was fantastic up until that point. So,
It's great. It's brilliant. I mean, anyone that does that
Yeah.
kind of job is obviously helping out charitable.
Yeah.
It is a hell of a job.
yeah.
But she's seen some things and been to some places, her, and just
Yeah,
her
no,
life.
Absolutely. So,
Wow.
And I mean, and I think she talks about it very off the cuff. Like, yeah, I went to Iraq, went to Somalia, went to DCR and all of that. But it's like, oh, no, DRC. But even so, it's like, those aren't places that you just sort of, pop off for a holiday.
Yeah,
and,
she was very much kind of just, I went to Iraq, went to Somalia, and
And I guess once you've done the job and you've seen
Yeah,
what
yeah, I
you've
guess
seen,
so,
you
yeah.
just become a bit sort
no,
of
it's
blasé to it.
interesting. It's interesting. It's I'm pleased we had young Nicola.
Yeah.
Save the
Excellent stuff.
planet, save the planet, save the children,
Save the
whatever.
children. There you go.
Save them all, apart from dolphins. How was your Christmas?
Christmas was amazing. It
Did
was
you have
so
lots
much
of doggies
fun.
in
It
at
was
K9
busy,
Point Academy?
lots of dogs ins and outs, lots of cool pictures, lots of dog presents, dog
Excellent.
dinners.
And I guess if people are going away for Christmas, or they've already gone away for Christmas, if they're going away for New Year,
Yeah, we're busy over New Year.
have you got any
So-
spaces left?
Might have a couple left. For
Okay,
New
so
Year.
if you
Need to
have
double
got,
check.
if you are thinking about going out for the night, because especially with all
Well,
the fireworks that are going on, it's
yeah.
a good idea to leave your doggy with Russell,
Yes,
who can look after them, and he puts little ear protectors over your doggy's ears so they can't hear the fireworks.
little earmuffs.
You're like a muff, don't you, mate? If you do need your dog trained, or if you need to find somewhere for your dog to stay, then go to k9pointacademy.com. They've even got a beach club.
We've got a beach club, and we do daycare. So even if you just want to go out and
Absolutely.
have a party and let your dog have someone to chill out,
And they also have a barkcast. So if you want to learn about dogs and you want to learn about little snippets that can make your life with your dog so much better.
easier. K9pointacademy.com/barkcast.
There you go. Like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Just go to...
PhuketPodcast.com.
There you go.
Cheers, buddy. How was your Christmas?
Tiring. I'm tired. It
Yeah.
was very, very busy. The kids had a great time.
Cool.
We opened lots of presents, some nice presents from Santa. Thank you, Santa. He did very well this year, or she. No, it's a he, isn't it? Really,
Santa's a he.
Santa's a he. And then we went for a lovely dinner, and it was all in all, it was a great day. Travelled around, gave cookies to different people. It was fun. Had a
Cool.
bit of a
Plans for
Christmas
New
Day
Year?
tour. I think I might be working New Year.
Okay.
I think. I'm not sure. I'm not a big New Year fan, to be fair.
No.
No, I don't like it.
No, I like New Year, particularly this year.
Why do you like it this year?
Just get rid of 2020.
21's going to be the same, mate.
It's going to be exactly the same, but it's the mental. I mean, it's like Christmas is. I love Christmas, but not for anything remotely religious about it. For me, Christmas is an end of year celebration. You know, we've made it through another year.
Because you're a Jew.
Exactly, we've made it through another year, and New Year's all about just having a party and celebrating, and starting another one. So, cool.
It's look at us.
On to 2021.
Our
Yay.
excitement of New Year. Anyway, thanks, Russell.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
I'll
Bye.
see you in the new year.
Oh, yeah, great.
Bye.
Bye.